Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and I haven't done one of these pre-update videos in a while, but I wanted to check out Venom and see how good he is, because I know a lot of people are going to be watching to see what kind of jump Venom gets, and we need to set a baseline for it now. And it's been 2 years for Venom, right? He got his uniform back in 2020 before I had any Pierce at all, so it is going to be a pretty big jump. I remember testing Venom out when I had like 2%, 4% Pierce. Really early on, I was testing him with a proc, a CTP of energy. Since then, I haven't done much to the build, so it's very similar to the way that it used to be. His 2 Odin's Blessings. We have no artifact, obviously. We have a CTP of Rage now, which is easier to play, and I was using for a long time in ABX, which was his main point of value. But now, what I want to position here is he can't just get a uniform that upgrades what he already did, because we already have Moon Knight for ABX, and Moon Knight gets 12 million on pretty much every combat hero week. So they're going to have to think of a new way to use Venom. I'm not saying that they have to really come outside of the box here. They could just make him a very high value DPS with that support healing. But I do think there has to be something, there's going to have to be something a little bit new here. As far as the healing goes, I was going to go on a big tangent about why I think they should remove the healing, or not should remove, could remove the healing on the 4th skill for allies, but I didn't want to go into that big of a rant, and actually you had to restart the video recording because I felt like the rant was too long. But basically, Venom has become known for as much his own damage as his healing, right? And the healing is used as a striker in World Boss Legend, so you can give any character access to the healing. Very iconic examples being Storm and Ghost Rider. You slap on Venom as a striker, boom, he drops those blobs, you get that 7% heal, he drops like 6 blobs, so it's like a 35% heal or a 42% heal or whatever. It's awesome. It is awesome, don't get me wrong. But I think having done that for 2 consecutive uniforms, right, Anti-Venom and now War of the Realms, it's pretty much the exact same heal. It might be 1% less. Again, that doesn't really, it's 2% more. Okay, so it does do a little bit more healing, but the point I'm trying to make is I could see them removing it and not having it on this next uniform to highlight how much this new uniform is just a focus on DPS. You know what's crazy? I have Null unlocked up to stage 62, which I know I'm still missing about 30 levels, but you can't use Venom at all back until 24. So we'll try him out on stage 24 of Null first. We're going to be using Thing support here just to get access to an Insight CTP. But what we will remember about Venom is actually his rotation becomes a lot of spam. And it also becomes a lot of, don't really worry too much about the tier 3, because the tier 3 itself doesn't do that much damage. So what you want to do is just focus on trying to deal as much damage during that accumulation period, rather than, you know, letting the tier 3 play out and losing a lot of damage, a lot of time that you could be spent spamming other skills. So we're actually doing okay right now. This damage is not blowing me away, but he has sustainability. He does have a heal as well, I believe, when he triggers some sort of effect. I honestly can't remember now. I think it's like a debuff or something like that. He triggers, we're not going to be able to dodge the cage here. We're just a little bit faster. So it took us just under 30 seconds to go from cage to cage. RIP Cage, we miss you. I mean, not RIP Cage like he's gone, like he just works for Sonic now. That's not what I meant. I just mean, like, you know, we miss you, Cage and Kim. RIP to the live streams with Cage and Kim. But yeah, saying Cage here reminded me of that. He got stunned out of that. So yeah, not very few iframes, I think, is the first thing I want to point out for Venom. Very few iframes here. He basically just has 1 iframe skill on 4. Everything else is just a long immunity or invincibility. So that took 90 seconds. That's pretty... This is pretty much scraping the bottom of the barrel. And what I mean by that is, and we're going to have to let the tier 3 play out here for the jump. The tier 3 damage is not bad, but yeah, he does do more. He does end up doing as much or more damage if you just spam his rotation instead. Especially his 3rd skill is surprisingly good damage. Like, he's got really cool abilities, don't get me wrong. The axe is really nice. I still like how he turns into a giant Venom head with the 4th skill. But I am looking forward to Venom getting a pretty large transformation. And actually, someone on Reddit pointed out that it'd be cool if they upgraded his tier, or updated, I should say. They should upgrade it as well. They should upgrade the damage. But if they updated his tier 3 skill, because it might not make sense anymore with the character to do the giant dino head. And while I don't disagree with that, Yeah, he only gets super armor when he picks up a heal for like 10 seconds, which is kind of a letdown because then he gets guard broken when he's not healing. We're just going to pop this real quick. He's got nice snappy animations, which I really like. But yeah, I could see them reworking the tier 3 skill. I could also see them not reworking the tier 3 skill. It's very rare that characters get a reworked tier 3 skill. We're actually going to let the tier 3 play out here because he's going to iframe us. Again, you have to use your knowledge of the Null fight versus Null to really make the most out of your Venom. But yeah, we're doing okay here. His burst damage is pretty low. He needs a lot of time to ramp up, and his damage really fluctuates based on whether you have the tier 3 active or not, because the tier 3, I believe, gives him accumulation, like a lesser version or a weaker version of someone like Ms. Marvel, or I believe Captain America Falcon has the same thing. So you really do want that tier 3 popping, but you also need to manage your run so that you have damage when you need it, right? So here I'm actually going to stall a little bit because we need to make sure that I'm topped up, first of all. And then we also need to make sure that we'll be able to pop the tier 3, because otherwise he won't have much damage when we get to this next phase. So I think we'll be able to do 4-6. Okay, we have to do the co-op skill as well. We get to pop 5. He's decently tanky here. We're not taking that much damage. Okay, maybe not decently tanky. I could have used Colossus as a support as well, but I didn't want to because I think Colossus was going to give us an incorrect assumption about Venom's survivability. So he gets this done with about 55 seconds left. That's okay. That could definitely be a lot better, though. It seems like stage 24, funny enough, is his limit, considering that it's also literally his limit versus Null. Like, you literally cannot go higher. Of course, you can then compare him on a stage like 29 for Mephisto, which we'll do now, to see where he ranks, because we've gotten a lot of really strong combats lately who can blitz through this content with time to spare. So I think one of the best comparisons is probably going to be Valkyrie, who is an even better support than Venom, but may come in a lot faster than him depending on the run. All right, we're into phase 2 here. I skipped phase 1 just because it's not quite as interesting as the next 2 phases, and we can test his survivability a little bit more here. I did bring along 2 fire resist strikers because I was worried with a 2020 uniform how he would fare, and it's basically kind of what I suspected. His survivability is a little bit suspect, so this is something that I also hope the devs address. Obviously, having a lot more damage will help his survivability because you do more damage, the boss has less time to do damage to you. But also, yeah, his movement speed's a little... I have almost max movement speed on him, funny enough. But this is pretty low. Burst damage there on the tier 3 is not bad, but I'm worried whenever these tornadoes come up. This is only stage 29, okay? And he's taking a lot of damage. Oh, I got my tier 3 interrupted there. So we're going to have to do the classic Venom, which is stop attacking to heal. And this is something that I was saying. So I think a lot of people are going to still be, confused and possibly upset by me saying they should take away his 4th skill, heal, for this new uniform. And the reason why I say that is it makes Venom really clunky to play as a standalone character. It definitely makes him unique, but the way that I feel about it is he already has 2 uniforms that do this. What would a 3rd really achieve? It would maintain that uniqueness, yes, but it would also make him more of a pain to play. And I'll use Doctor Strange as the perfect example of this, because for Doctor Strange, come on, do enough damage. There we go, push through. Ooh, that was almost a disaster. Almost killed Venom there. But yeah, Doctor Strange had his iconic spam rotation changed with the latest uniform, and a lot of people, myself included, initially reacted to that by saying, oh no, we're losing what makes Doctor Strange iconic. But the reality is, for other players, it was just damn annoying to play Doctor Strange, right? It wasn't fun to spam all the time. It was harder to play, and it didn't really add a lot of charm to his character the way that we thought it did. So I think that could definitely be the case for Venom, where people have kind of gotten used to it, but on the flip side, it doesn't actually function as well as we would have hoped when you use him as a standalone character. When you use Venom as a support, obviously it's a completely different story. But again, you already have 2 uniforms that you can use to use him as a support. So does he really need a third? Right? That's where I kind of take issue. And yeah, it is annoying to stop your DPS rotation and all that just to run around and collect blobs. It's funny, right? It's novel. Oh, look at me. I'm collecting blobs. But it's also kind of annoying. And it definitely will detract some value, right? Like if you think about it, if Venom has to do that every time he wants to heal, then he's going to have to be damn near insane to keep up with this existing meta, where you have Hulk who auto heals all the time. You have Moon Knight who also auto heals on 2 different skills, plus his tier 4 drops a massive heal right in front of him that he doesn't have to run around to collect, right? So Venom is going to be compared to those characters. If no one else, right? Venom is going to be compared to the other combat types on the roster, and so that is where I think he's going to lose a lot of points were that to stay the same. Now, we're in a lot of trouble right now. We actually got stunned out of the tier 3. Wow. I don't know if Venom has the juice for this. Venom may not be able to do stage 29 of Mephisto. Oh, no. I think we're going to be right on the button here. Wow, 5 seconds left. So yeah, I don't think there's much need to test Gore and Ultron. I think we're going to be disappointed if he can barely do 29. But that puts us in a pretty, in a pretty good spot for his glow up. But he obviously needs more of a glow up than I initially remembered. He's slower than Valkyrie. So let that sink in. All right, let that sink in. He does less damage than Valkyrie. Yeah, and arguably has worse survivability, because at least Valkyrie has an auto heal that procs with every time she uses her 5th skill or something like that. Or actually, maybe it's every time she uses a bleed skill. Valkyrie's heal is also kind of weird, but again, I still think it's a little bit more consistent than Venom's heal. I think he may also have a heal on his passive. No, he doesn't have a heal on his passive. But yeah. Hit me up in the comments down below. Oh, he does have a heal on his uniform passive. Yeah, a 20-second cooldown, though. Yeah, okay. But yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think of Venom pre-update. Do you agree with my opinion, controversial as it is, of removing the heal on the 4th skill in favor of a more traditional, just a heal skill for him? I'm not saying they should get rid of his healing altogether, of course, but just that they should, revert it to a traditional heal that just activates when you press the skill. Or do you think they should continue with that iconic 4th skill heal blob that forces you to just run around, do a couple circles there, which may actually be good for reforged CTPs? Who knows? But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Smash the like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.